What up, everybody? It's me, Blake316, with a new episode of I Got Game. This is episode 28 of my recent video game pickups. And in this episode, I definitely have a huge variety of games, and I also have a lot of retro pickups that I'm definitely excited to show you guys. But to get straight into it, I'm going to show you one game. It's not a retro game, but it's definitely a game that I wasn't too sure if I was going to pick up. I didn't pick it up at launch. I waited a few weeks. There was definitely a lot of hype into it. I didn't buy into the hype, but I eventually picked it up. And it is Overwatch. I picked it up for the Xbox One. I did quite a few videos on this game, mainly an unboxing video, then an impressions video. I picked it up on the Xbox One, not the PS4, mainly because I had the Xbox One Elite controller, and I figured I'd use the Elite controller, which is pretty much made for first-person shooter games, and I figured I'd get the best experience with the game using that controller. With that being said, is Overwatch a great game? Is it worth the hype? Right now, it's cool. I'll definitely say I have to need to play it a lot more. It's definitely one of those games, if you have a lot of friends to play with online, then it's totally going to be a fun time experience. There is no team deathmatch. There's like capture the flag modes, a lot of team-based modes where you need your teammates to work with you. So that's like I said, if you have friends online who can use a microphone and communicate with you, it's going to be a really fun game. I need to play it a lot more to say whether, like I said, if it's a must-buy, if it's really worth the hype. I need to play it some more. But I'm not disappointed with the purchase. But right now, it's living up to the hype that everyone praised it for, in my opinion. No, but it doesn't mean it's not a bad game. But here it is, Overwatch for the Xbox One. Now, another game that I bought, I figured I need to build up my Nintendo 3DS collection. I bought that console as soon as it came out last year, and I figured I need some games for it. Now, one game I got finally that a lot of people are going to say, it's about time you got that game, and it is Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. Now, this game was actually a Game of the Year, I remember, I believe for, was it a GameStop? Or GameSpot, excuse me, I always get those confused. And at that time, it was pretty crazy that a handheld won their Game of the Year, because it's usually console games. But I finally picked up my copy, and as you can see, I haven't opened it yet. I picked this game up because I plan on going on a trip, and I'm going to be on 6 hours on a plane, and you know what, I need something to occupy my time for those 6 hours. So I said, you know what, let me get some 3DS games, play my 3DS, and I picked up this game. Legend of Link Between Worlds. I know a lot of people say a lot of great things about it. I'm definitely excited to get into it, and now I'm going to have the time to actually play it. So that's another game that I picked up in my recent pickups of I Got Game, Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. I picked up another Nintendo 3DS game, and it is Kirby Planet Robobot. Is that how you pronounce it? Now, this is the big new release of the Kirby series, where pretty much it's the Kirby traditional platforming, but he's like in mech suits. I definitely looked up a lot of gameplay videos, and it looked pretty cool. And you know what? I haven't played a Kirby game probably since the first Kirby on the original Game Boy. So I figured, you know what? I remember that game being really good, and this game looks pretty cool. So I figured I'd pick it up. Once again, I haven't played it yet. I'm going to use this for my trip. I'm going to be playing my Nintendo 3DS a whole lot on the plane if I'm not sleeping. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. I definitely like the artwork of the cover art with Meta Knight on the cover, and Kirby looks really cool. But like I said, the gameplay looks pretty cool. I'm pretty excited to see how good it is. I'm probably going to play a little bit as soon as this video is over, when I'm done recording. But another game that I picked up for my Nintendo 3DS, trying to build up that library. Now, let's get on to the cool retro pickups. Now, these are really cool retro pickups, meaning because these are games that I always wanted. I remember, like, when I was younger, and I always used to see them in like magazines, and I also would see commercials, but for some reason I never got these games. And you know what, I figured I had a couple gift cards, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to use these gift cards to get these cool retro games that I always wanted. The first cool retro pickup that I got it's going to be kind of crazy for some of you guys, is WWF In Your House. This game I always remember seeing in the WWF magazine, and I was always interested in it, but at the time I didn't have a PlayStation, so I never played it. This was kind of the sequel to the WWF arcade game that was huge in arcades, and was also really big on the consoles. And I remember this, and I remember the reviews saying it wasn't that good. I personally don't really care about the reviews. I just want it because, like I said, it's something that I always wanted. I remember always seeing in the magazines, and I pretty much bought it for the nostalgia of always wanting it and having it. As you see, the Space Jam advertising for the Space Jam game for the PlayStation. I mean, this is really cool. It's kind of crazy that I actually have this. I'm pretty excited when I received it in the mail, because like I said, it was something I always wanted. WWF In Your House. There goes the neighborhood. Cool game. Another retro pickup that I have that's even more crazier. I didn't always want this game. I actually seen it looking for other retro games. I was like, you know what? Now I want it. And it is WWF King of the Ring for the original Game Boy, as you see Bret Hart on the cover. Once again, this is like just a really cool retro pickup that I see, and I was like, man, I really want that. It's an old school wrestling game. And me personally, I loved WWF and wrestling in general in this era. In my opinion, 90s wrestling was the best. I'm not a big fan of wrestling right now because I think everyone is the same. But back then, there was unique wrestlers and different kind of characters that they portrayed, like The Undertaker, and, you know, there's like Vader and Shawn Michaels and Riz Ramon. Like, all those guys were so cool in my opinion. Ultimate Warrior, I can keep going on. So like I said, I'm not a big fan of wrestling right now, but back in this era, I thought it was really cool. King of the Ring, I still have my Game Boy. It still works. I haven't had a chance to play this, but as you can see the price, I paid for it, $2.99. Not a bad pickup. Now, my last retro pickup is also something that I always wanted, and I can't believe that I actually have it. And it's pretty surreal for me because, like I said, this was something I always wanted as a kid, and now I finally have it. And it is WWF Raw, or Raw's War, that some people might remember. It's wrestling's rudest and roughest. WWF Raw for the Super Nintendo. This is a game that I also always seen in WWF Magazine that I always wanted. I had WWF Royal Rumble for the Super Nintendo, but I didn't have this game. I don't know why. I never asked for it, but I always wanted it. And once again, I had that gift card to buy stuff online, and I was like, you know what? Let me get a bunch of stuff that I'll probably never buy, and this was one of it. This brings back so many memories for me because I remember being younger, and I used to watch wrestling in WWF Raw in particular, and asking my mom to stay up till it was like 10, 11 o'clock when it came on every Monday super late, and sometimes she would let me, and it just brings back a lot of memories of wrestling in general, and wrestling in my opinion was at its peak. But yeah, this is another really cool pickup that I got. I'm really happy to have this WWF Raw. Hey, I mean, some people might laugh, but you know, like, this is one of the games I've always wanted. I'm happy to finally have it. But it's not a lot of pickups in this episode, but in my opinion, it's a lot of cool pickups. As you see Overwatch, WWF Raw, you see WWF King of the Ring. I still call it WWF. I can't really, I have a hard time saying WWE. WWF In Your House, Zelda Link Between Worlds, Kirby Robobots, a lot of cool stuff. But you know what? These are games that I like. Other people might not like. It's like, Blake, why are you buying those old-ass games? Why don't you just emulate it? I like to have physical copies of stuff. But it's me, Blake316, with another episode of I Got Game. Make sure to subscribe for future videos. Until next time, make sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Until next time, peace.